Hello, everyone. It's Wednesday, December 2nd. It's time for the Topher Spin Meteorites Hangout. We got a good crowd of people with us, as always. Got a bunch of stuff to talk about and a lot of stuff that we don't even know we're going to talk about yet. We do have a kind of side topic for tonight, which is personal collecting and how you track your collection, how you curate digitally your collection. So that's going to be something I'm going to show today, a little bit of the spreadsheets that I use and some of the some of the tools I use in order to curate my collection and my sales inventory and the various branches of thereof. But unfortunately, I want to start off with some sad news. I'm dedicating this hangout to the memory of two Meteorite community members, shooting stars that we lost recently. Dave Gheesling in Georgia, and just recently my friend Dillon in Tucson. They both passed away of sudden heart attacks recently. So we are dedicating this hangout and the community we're building to the memory of those two gentlemen who built a strong community around themselves. So with that unfortunate but sad news out of the way, I do want this to be a channel that we come to for Meteorite news, and breaking news is coming to us from Canada, courtesy of Fred McPherson. Fred, what you got for us?
So today at around 12 noon Eastern Standard Time, we had an event occur that was reported up here in Canada, just around Lake Ontario. And we've been following some Doppler radar and we have a projected trajectory that it possibly ended just a little east of Buffalo, New York, and upper New York State along the shores of Lake Ontario. And so I've been working with the University of Western Ontario trying to pinpoint exactly where this occurred. Unfortunately, the all-sky cams at the University of Western Ontario and McMaster University in Hamilton, Ontario are programmed not to turn on until darkness arrives. So it wasn't captured on those sky cams. There is two blips on Buffalo Doppler radar that occurred. The sonic boom was heard over Syracuse, New York.
Oh, really?
And but unfortunately, it looks as if due to the speed of the meteor as it was coming in, it looks like it probably totally vaporized, and at this time there are no reports of any rocks on the ground at all. But I got a number of phone calls from a lot of people who actually saw the meteor in the sky. I unfortunately missed it, but just another occurrence that happens every day somewhere around the world.
That's awesome. Cool. Thank you for the update. I appreciate that. And with your connection and work with the universities, keep us informed if for any strange reason they do find some remnants hitting the ground somewhere. That'd be awesome to hear about.
Yeah. The problem I have is I'm in Canada, and if it did come down, it came down New York State, and our border is closed, and I have no way of getting there unless I can swim. It's directly across Lake Ontario from me, and so it'll be out of my hands, but hopefully somebody will come across something.
I saw Dean Hull, who's in New York, post today, reward if anyone finds anything, let me know. And I'm thinking, hey, wise. What I think this leads into, what's really cool is maybe I don't use these tools myself, but maybe we can discuss the all sky camera, Doppler radar, and then there's a web page where people actually voluntarily report sightings, and with all that information put together, we calculate where the meteorite would have either vaporized or landed.
Yeah, there's been significant improvement in that over the last few years. It wasn't that long ago that we only had orbital, decent orbital guesses for, 4 or 5 meteorites. But now with the all sky cameras, and they're set up with wide angle lenses, and there's somewhere between 6 and 8 cameras, and most of them under a dome. And they're like in the Southwest, there's really, really good coverage over a very large area. But early on, some of the meteorite people started using different sources of data. And then when a meteoroid disrupts in the atmosphere, you get a sonic boom from it. And especially out west here, we've got enough seismometers that you can triangulate with a seismometer. And then some very smart people worked out that weather radar gives you a radar return on a raindrop or a snowflake. So it can probably give you a radar return on a rock. And so a lot of really interesting work has been done, and our national awareness or international awareness of these events is way better than it was not very long ago. And at one point it was just total dumb luck to get a meteor on video, and now it's ultra common.
I believe that all sky cams are installed at Mike Farmer's house and also Robert Ward's house up in Prescott. So Arizona is well covered. I know that. There's the ability to purchase your own all sky cam and join the network. And it's a sizable investment up front. I think it was like $2,700, something like that. But when you join when you're on the network, then you're obviously the first ones to know about anything, which is why Mike Farmer and Robert Ward are always feet on the street first. So that technology is open really to anyone who wants to install it at their residence. We also have a member of our group, Jim Goodall, I believe is his name, that does Strunify. He works at Strunify. I think it's actually his organization, and he wrote a software program that basically takes all this information, interpolates it, and basically gives valuable feedback as to potential fall zones. Does anyone have anything they'd like to show off today? Because I, as usual, have some stuff to show off. Hey, Mike Kelly just joined. I got this package.
Sure, yeah,
I got this package from China, and I thought, well, I order so much stuff and so many weird things, and some of it comes from China. I have no idea. Maybe they just put it in a weird box that I don't recognize. So I opened it up, and it looks factory sealed, and I'm like, okay. So I open it up, and it's definitely not something I've ordered. Look at the power supply on it. Whoa, it's basically a dental tool to melt certain amalgams of fillings. And I have no idea why I have it, but it came from China.
That's pretty weird.
Yeah.
Love the
Yeah, so hopefully someone else got something else in the mail today, Mike Kelly, that they want to show off.
Yeah, you had mentioned.
We got a lot of echo. There you go.
Okay, I was trying to also plug in on the computer, so because I know you were talking cataloging for later, but you had mentioned Dave Gheesling, as a honor to him, So one of the things that I didn't have, and I've always wanted for a long time, was a piece of Conception Junction, which is an American Palisite. It was a find, and I didn't realize up until recently that he was actually part of the team that went and searched for it after the initial farmer had found it, and they had done kind of a Ninninger poster reward type deal. So the original finder had seen this poster reward from somebody, And then that person got Dave Gheesling and I think it was Rob Ward also involved in the hunt. And they hunted it, I think, for almost like over a year before they realized that it was probably just a single piece. So little this took forever to come in the mail, but a little package from Ruben Garcia, and put you down for a minute.
Yeah, so I hope I can find it, but Dave Gheesling also, or Gheesling, whatever his name is, I'm sorry, also has written a book on Conception Junction, which is something that you should have if you have a slice of it. Of course, I can't find my copy right now.
So that was a piece that this passed through Rob Ward, but you know, just kind of to honor Dave, I figured I would finally pull the trigger and pick up a piece so I could remember him.
Wow, that's a beautiful piece, man.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I from what I understand, I never met Dave. For what I understand, he was a very generous man.
Yeah, and you had mentioned he had done the monogram for that, so that was something that I didn't grab a copy of that with this, and I got to find myself a copy of it, but it's definitely something that that I was interested in.
Yeah, but my slice came with a copy, luckily.
Besides that, it was a busy mail day, so you
Nice.
Get two other pieces here. Sorry, I'm kind of fumbling, grabbing boxes as we go. Come on, you.
Yeah, it's Meteorite box opening live.
So this was number 2, and this is from Mike Jensen. So let's see what we got here.
Mike Jensen's a very trusted meteorite dealer.
And this should be one of 2 things that I was really hoping and waiting for. Like I said, the mail has been quite slow. So throw it anywhere. Let's see if we got what I think I got in here. So, yep, this is what I was hoping it was. There is a Bondoc with a Walton label, and I'll put you down for 1 second.
It's funny that you're showing the Walton label. One of the pieces I want to show today is the Walton label.
And so I'll get it to focus. There is the Walton number on there, but over here on this side,
what
is a Ninninger number.
Oh,
Cool.
you dirty dog.
So that is the
really
first Ninninger numbered piece to join my collection.
That is slick, dude.
And that's a little over 30 grams.
Nice.
That is really cool.
And then the final, let's see what we got.
Holy
here.
moly. You have a water-cooled credit card?
Well, you know, I do this.
He's been waiting for weeks.
I've been waiting for weeks on a bunch of these. So they've been a long time in the making. Like I said, the mail's been killing me lately. Usually I'm pretty patient, but that kind of got tested lately.
And these are big pieces for the Micromen Inc.
Yeah, these are pretty larger than I usually do. So the last thing we got here is from the Ozman himself. Thank you, Oz.
There we go.
So we got a little end cut of the odd numbered palisite.
Nice.
Cool.
Along with a small little slice of Daggedy Downs in Australian.
Cool.
Wow.
So that was everything for the day.
That is slick, dude. Love it. Love it. Yeah, we're super proud of that odd numbered palisite. It's that one sold out rather quickly. Yeah, I have. It's funny that you show the piece with the Walton on it, because this is one of the things that I showed last week, and it was in a a plastic bag, and I got yelled at for it. So now it's in its final resting place. Yeah, so we have the Walton number up there, followed by the Walton number down there. I'm missing a Ninninger number. Well, the resolution stinks today, doesn't it, on this?
Yeah, and there is a weird a weird algorithm that or compression scheme that they use on video that instead of being square pixels, it's kind of triangular, and so it makes sometimes when you're looking at fusion crust or like the metallic flecks in that one, and even your background, it's a real triangular emphasis. Strange look.
Yeah, well, that is kind of the way that looks, but I wonder if it'll be better resolution if I do it like this next time. Is that? I don't know if that looks better for you. Yeah, maybe. Oh well.
They'll add that your screen is a lot smaller than normal.
Yeah. Oh, was it?
It is.
Well, let's try this. I'll show it off one more time like this, and this is. Let's see if that's better for everyone. Yeah, I think it actually. You can see the metal in it now.
Yeah, I think it is, but there's still that strange triangular sort of
yeah, it's
look to it.
It's definitely zoom.
Yeah, well, and Facebook does the same thing too.
And we got I see Fred and McPherson wearing his Falling Rocks hat. That's cool.
I have a mail story that I can share. I purchased a few meteorites from a very reputable undisclosed dealer who lives in Arizona, and he shipped them to me in Canada, and it left Arizona on November 21st. It made its way to Phoenix, then to LA, then to Hong Kong, then to Tokyo, then it went to Hong Kong, and it just departed Hong Kong, so hopefully it's on its way to Canada shortly.
It's crazy. I have no idea why sometimes the packages take world tours, but yeah, I sent a package to I think it was to Dean Hull in New York, or maybe it was Bruce in New Jersey, but it went to Hawaii first. I'm like, dude, that's not even close. Yeah. So I have a video check-in from our friend Marco Geiser in Germany. So let me go ahead and play that for us real quick. All right, our buddy Marco, what do you have for us? Let me guess, oriented meteorites?
Hello everyone! Again, it's Wednesday, hangout time, and of course I prepared another nice oriented meteorites for your viewing pleasure. So, enjoy! Okay guys, so the last time you had a nice and interesting discussion regarding so-called hitchhikers. So small particles or individual small fragments from the main mass of a meteorite that get sticked on the backside of an oriented meteorite. So I think maybe you remember this piece here. I already showed it, but what I didn't show is that this piece shows these hitchhikers. So let's have a look on them. Yeah, now we're looking on the trailing side, on the back side of the piece. And as you can see here is one big hitchhiker against some small others.
Wow. That is so neat.
And here again, from a different angle of view, I think hitchhikers are really, really interesting features on oriented meteorites. They're rare, but very, very interesting.
Yeah, that's a very unique, cool looking one.
Look at that puppy right there.
Mm-hmm.
And that just when they're both kind of liquidy and it just happens to get stuck in the negative pressure, gets sucked back on there and stuck on there forever.
Yeah, here I have another one. It's also an unclassified NWA Chondrite. It weighs about 322 grams. And as you can see here on the front side of the piece, it shows nice ragma clips, elongated ragma clips, and I would say the most interesting part of the piece is the back side. Yeah, and that's the back side of the piece. And as you can see here,
Jeez.
it shows also some hitchhikers.
It's like a buy one, get one free. Marco used a term that I like. He used the term elongated regmaglyphs. I always call it fluting, but I think that's a more accurate term.
Okay, the third piece for today is this 968 gram ordinary chondrite.
Oh,
This is really one of my favorite pieces.
whoa.
As you can see, it shows flow lines, the beginning of a nose cone orientation, and the flow lines ends in elongated regmaglyphs on one side. Looks a little bit like a piano.
Wow. Look at that right there, man. That's gorgeous. See,
Yeah, that's stunningly beautiful.
I need something like that. I have an open call for anyone who has a piece that is this quality or better. Hook me up. Give me a call.
And that's the trailing side of the piece. It shows contraction cracks and the typical pooling, frothy, bubbly fusion crust on its trailing side.
Yeah, look at it right there, man. Alligator skin.
Look at those cracks.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, there's a funny story behind that piece. About 7 years ago at the Ensisheim show, I saw that piece and yeah, I really get amazed. And normally we're spending 2 days in Ensisheim, but in that year I had another meeting, so I was not able to spend two nights in Ensisheim. But what should I say? At the first day I didn't buy that piece, but I can't get it out of my mind. Do you know that? Some pieces you need to have.
Yeah.
And what I did is, the day after my meeting, I drove again to Ensisheim, which is about 2.5 hours from my home. And yeah, I bought it.
Nice.
You had to have it.
Congrats, buddy. Yeah.
That's Meteorite craziness.
The addiction.
Yeah, what should I say? Sometimes a collector has to do crazy things. But to be honest, I don't regret it that I did that additional trip to Ensisheim. And I'm really happy that I bought that piece. Maybe you have also nice, interesting stories, funny stories behind your meteorites. And it would be interesting to hear them. So have a great hangout, guys, and see you next week. Bye-bye from Germany.
Thanks, Marco. Thanks, buddy. That's awesome. I love his check-ins.
Yeah.
Let me
I
pause.
I
this
have
real
a hitchhiker one too that I couldn't find last time we talked, but I can present it this time. So pretty. Let's see how I can do this to get the best resolution. Yeah, it's not focusing perfectly on it, but you know, it's a pretty typical shield shaped oriented meteorite. And this one comes with a story too. The first time I went to Tucson in 2007 or 2008, there were a lot of NWA folks who just, you know, rented a tent and dumped their pile of rocks on the table. And so inside one of these tents, I ran into Ruben Garcia, and he's looking through the meteorites, and he picks up this one, and he says, "Oh, look at that, it's oriented." And then, yeah, and look at all of the hikers on the back. Yeah, not going to show it very well, darn it. And so he had this in his hand, and I gave him a $20 finder fee to allow me to buy it for 20 cents a gram or whatever it was. But there's
yeah, look at those.
There's a whole pile of hitchhikers on the back of it. Wow, that, I don't know why this isn't focusing better. There, that's a little better. But there's a whole pile of hitchhikers.
Dang.
There, that shows it.
Yeah. God dang, that's awesome. Yeah, I love the fact that he encourages that Marco encourages us to also share stories with the meteorites that we're sharing. So before we get to that sexy dark one that Pat has, I want to tell. Oh, I can take this off now. I thought my head was kind of heavy. I can tell you a story about. I was talking with the guy who I was buying Buzzard Cooley from, and I made another amazing purchase. Wait till you see this stuff, Fred. You're gonna freak. But he had a piece of Semchen advertised, a slice of Semchen advertised, and he had a description that was incorrect. He said, as you can see from the outside of the meteorite slice, it has undergone a secondary heating and ultra heating or some kind of, and I was like, no. So I contacted him and said, just the piece is drop dead gorgeous, but your description is very incorrect / misleading. What you actually have here is a slice of Semchen it's a Russian palisite that's been sliced and etched in the Russian style. Ozman. And so I basically explained to them that what they do is the Russians for a time, and some people hate these and some people love them and can't get enough of them. But I let him know that what you actually have is a Russian style etched piece of Semchen, and it's probably worth about 40% more, or 25, at least 25 to 30% more than what you think it is. So I said, you should really raise your price and change your description. Well, we made a deal on a bunch of Buzzard Cooley, and he, at the last minute, said, by the way, this deal is contingent on one thing. You must buy the slice of Semchen. And I'm thinking, great, I just told him how valuable it is. Now but like Marco was saying, as a collector, sometimes you have to get what you get, and you have to go for it, man. So this is the slice that I got in all of its glory.
Beautiful.
And I no longer own this. This belongs to Oz, but he allowed me to show it off to you guys today.
Drop
Oh,
dead good.
nice. Yeah. Yeah.
So
They historically used that technique as well on some of the early pieces. I've seen some from the Ward catalog that were etched that way. But yeah, so I think basically the way they do this is they paint wax onto the surfaces they don't want etched, and then apply the etchant and then remove the wax.
that's my understanding as well. Yeah, some of the finer pieces that I saw in Mike Farmer's room in Tucson were done in this fashion. So I asked him about it because I've never seen it before. So it took basically me going into a high-end dealer like Mike Farmer in order to see it for the first time, and then wasn't just satisfied with seeing it. I wanted to understand, what am I looking at? Because I've never seen that before, and I know it's not meteoritic. I know it's not natural, but this is a gorgeous slice, absolutely gorgeous slice, and the etch.
Oh yeah, that's beautiful.
Congratulations, Oz.
Yeah, you're the man.
That's one to be proud of.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's.
I'm just seeing it now too. So.
Yeah. And the olivine is beautiful color.
Yes.
It's not translucent because it's a pretty thick slice. It's not going to be translucent, but you're not going to lose any of the olivine. And the olivine is, let me see if I can get, there you go. Olivine's just a beautiful color.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And this side,
along, guys.
That would look good on your light table.
Yeah, Oz, I'll trade you.
For which one?
The one I framed. I'll even throw the frame in.
this is 129 grams.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the story behind this meteorite. Was after I educated, crud, hold on.
Yeah.
After I educated the guy on the value, he was like, well, now that I know what it's worth.
So actually, you just solved a mystery that I've had for a couple of years. Can I show you a piece I have here?
Yep, I saw you had your hand up.
Yeah, let me flip my camera. Let's see here.
So
here we go.
Oz, I'm putting this away. It'll be in an envelope to you tomorrow. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. Okay. This is the same thing. This is a piece of Muonia Malusta. Let me focus this. But you see around the edge there? Same effect. I bought this years ago. The guy I talked to did not know why it was there, and I've been trying to figure out why the heck they did that. The other side is a standard, just a regular etch.
That's very, very normal.
Yeah, but this side, I was, for years, I was trying to find out why they etched it like that with that mirror. I mean, I love it. I just didn't know why they did it like that. So
that's
weird.
A beautiful piece, and it's weird to see it on a Swedish piece.
Yeah, I've seen a few of them like this for sale.
That's beautiful.
But yeah, this is, and the amazing thing is it hasn't rusted. Moaning Loose is a known ruster, and this thing has been stable for 4 years. I haven't done a thing to it.
That's great. Yeah, this Semchen looks looks extremely stable, and possibly even coated it in a coating of some sort.
It'll coat it to me, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, the etching pattern, the etching style, I guess, didn't catch on. People didn't prefer it over other pieces. So kind of what people decided to start doing, and I'm hypothesizing a little bit here, is so now you see a lot of pieces that are etched on one side and polished on the other.
Yeah.
But I would much rather have both sides etched and then a mirror around the edge. I mean, do all my slices that way. That's sexy. I mean, it shows you the high shine, just total metal, but you still have the etch on both sides.
So they do that by applying a layer of wax there, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's my understanding, is that you know, it's like the batik cloth dyeing stuff that they do in Asia, where you apply wax and then you crackle and crumble it and apply the dye, and you get that veining sort of look.
Yeah, but thanks for clearing up that mystery for me, though. That's been bothering me for a while.
That's awesome. That's what this channel's all about, man. Or these hangouts. I keep saying the channel, but the hangout for us now is like I wanna get knowledge and information and accurate stuff out there. So yeah, the guy was very pleased that I knew what I was talking about and was able to educate him. And he immediately changed the description of it and stuff. And then I saw him take it down. And yeah, so you made out like a bandit on that one. Yeah, good deal.
Beautiful.
Pat, did you want to show off that beautiful black one there, man?
Yeah, this one's a rerun, but I think it's worth another view. This is the one that I don't have an exact weight on because none of my scales go up high enough. This is one that I got produced on in 2020.
That's gorgeous.
And I think I'm gonna polish a surface in this broken area here.
Yeah.
At some point.
Is that a huge metal bleb I saw right above where you point it?
Yeah.
Right there, flashing.
Yeah, there is
right there.
Metal exposed there.
Jeez.
Yeah, so this one is about 8 kilos.
It's dead sexy.
And you can
Quite
see
oriented.
yeah, it's a very, very different shape. You know, so many of the larger meteorites are have fractured along shock planes in the meteoroid as it hits the top of the atmosphere. But this one really looks like an individual, you know, that survived intact. You see a couple of megachondrules there. Yeah. And
it's great to show these off again because it's we have such beautiful specimens, and some of the hangouts are 2 hours long, and I know not everyone watches them, so to show them off a few times, maybe we'll get everyone randomly to see it.
And one other feature that this one shows, not as perfectly as some, but you can see these, you know, superficially they look like vesicles or even like expanding gas bubbles, but what they really are chondrule blowouts, where the chondrule or inclusion was softer than the other material, or sometimes it's also just a mechanical thing. The chondrule falls out. Yeah,
it just wasn't held in the matrix very well.
Yeah, and here you can see those in shadow.
Did I also see dripping crust around the leading edge?
It's possible. I need to play with it a little more with the lighting, but it's possible that there are some flow features here, and then it's also possible there's a rollover lip.
Yeah, that's what I was seeing up there leading into that.
Yeah, but this one's got a real there's another megachondrule down here. This one's got a number of really pretty features, and I'll also just there again you can see Chondrule Blowout over here in the shadow. And so one important thing that I learned when I bought this meteorite and then, you know, examined it some more, and after I'd already fallen in love with it, talking with Adam Aronson, just because there are some megachondrules showing in a larger stone does not mean it's a type 3 or type 4. This one quite possibly is a type 5, but you know, when I polish off some of this, I'll get a better look at it.
Yeah.
But
that is so massive, dude.
The overall shape, and there's a nice
wind divot right there.
Yeah. And another mega chondrule up here that's cut in half. So don't be fooled by a mega chondrule or two on a large stone. It's not necessarily an indication that it's a type 3.
There could be a lot of variance in a stone.
Yes, that's true too. They're far from homogeneous, and we're learning a lot more about that. The other thing that I wanted to mention real briefly is I think it's on the 5th that the Hayabusa 2 mission sample comes back through our atmosphere, and it's landing in Australia someplace. So
when was that?
I think it's on December the 5th.
Okay.
But watch on YouTube, or do a Hayabusa 2 search on YouTube, and you'll find it pretty quick.
That's going to be awesome.
Was that
cool.
the Japanese moon probe?
This one is actually a visit to a small asteroid that I think is the carbonaceous type.
Okay.
They shot an impactor at it and collected up some material. And there's been 2 Hayabusa missions. This is the second one. But it's exciting to watch those things come back and hope that it doesn't work out like the one that crash landed into the desert in Utah when the parachute didn't open.
Yeah.
That's all I got. Oh, one more thing I want to. Sorry, I got one more thing here. I thought it might be fun to show off a book or two each time. This one is ex-library because it's got a library code on it. But this is Principles of Meteoritics by Krinov, translated into English, and it carries a Library of Congress withdrawal stamp, and then the library copy, NASA Wallops Station, Wallops Island, Virginia stamp on the bottom of it. Krinov, of course, was a big student of meteorites in Russia, and somebody painstakingly translated this thing and then typed it.
Jesus, Sakota
Lean Dust Trail. But this one is really cool in that it's got lots of pictures. So there's a medieval drawing of a fall, and it even has a fold-out map of the USSR with all of the falls noted on it. And now it was my path. I don't necessarily think it has to be everybody's path, but I actually had more money invested and more value in books than I did in meteorites for a significant period of time. And so now with the internet, we have such an ability to find out of print books and rare books. It has raised the price, but it's worthwhile to have a number of books and read them. And even though Meteoritics is improving rapidly, there's still a lot of the basics that you'll find in especially the older books. And that's all I have.
Awesome. That's pretty awesome. I appreciate that. What was the publication date roughly in that? Do you remember?
That one, Krinov wrote it in.
Because seeing something typed like that is pretty wild. I mean,
Yeah. I don't have the date for Krinov's original, but this one is copyright 1960 by Pergamum Press, Oxford, London, New York, Paris.
nice. Awesome. Thank you, man. Anyone have anything they'd like to show off?
I got a couple of rocks if you want to take a look at them.
Absolutely.
A couple of randoms. There it is. This is a piece of Tishomingo I bought for it from.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's I bought this about 4 years ago, I believe. So I can focus that a little bit better.
What's the name of it?
Tishomingo.
Hmm.
And the it was found in Oklahoma. It's actually the age of the falls in Ono. It was actually found in 1965. The back side isn't so pretty, so I'm not going to show it to you, but the front side is really nice. But
I can't even tell if it's an iron or a chondrite.
Oh, it's an iron. It's definitely an iron. It's an attack site. And it is
that inclusion. The inclusion has a white ring around it, though.
That is typical of Tishomingo.
I've never seen that before.
I've looked at other pieces, and I find this feature on pretty common. I don't know what it is. I'm not an expert on it, but I thought it was kind of cool just to show.
Wow. An iron from Oklahoma. That's freaking awesome.
Yeah, it's from Oklahoma. Bought this from Moritz Carl. I don't know, a couple of years ago, I guess. But it's an ungrouped attack site. It's kind of a nice little piece. The back, the saw kind of slipped on the back, so it's got a big ridge. I may as well show it. It's got a big ridge along the base. See that ridge right there?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right along in here, the saw slipped, and it's got about a 1/16 of an inch ridge along the edge. He knocks a couple of bucks off just because of that. He says, "That's not so pretty." I said, "That's okay. I only need one side."
Nice.
So then the other one I want to show, again, this is one of my favorite rocks. I think I may have shown this before. Is it Taza?
Mm-hmm.
I love Tazas. These are one of my favorite all-time rocks. But this one is one from Jeff Notkin. Let me focus this a little bit better.
Taza is NWA 859.
59. This is out of his personal collection. I was at the show. I think it was one of the first years I went, about 5, 6, 7 years ago, whatever it was. And I was looking around, not finding, and I knew I wanted a Taza. I'd read about it, and I thought that'd be kind of a nice one with that plusiated pattern on it. It was just outstanding. Anyway, so I was talking to him at the Hotel City Tucson Center, and he says, "I've got one back in my office." So we hopped in his car. His office is just 5-minute drive, and I bought it from him right there immediately. I saw this thing, and man, this thing is really crazy. If you look at the outside, look at the regma looking at this thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it just blew me away.
Very nice. Look at that knob on top too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, right there.
Yeah.
Another sculpture.
A what?
It's another sculpture. It's been sculptured.
Yeah. But this one, and then
get character.
the next day I was over at the Ramada. I was talking with Blaine Reed, and I was walking up and down. There's another guy that had a larger piece, a little more expensive, that we bargained back and forth. I just couldn't meet his price. But today I kicked myself in the butt for not buying it. It's one of those deals like my friend in Germany was saying, you just have to have it, but I just couldn't swing the money.
Yeah.
But this is, and that little inclusion in the middle is kind of like a little
bonus.
Yeah.
And you got a nice inclusion pointing at it too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. 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 Yeah.
Now, is it just me, or does it look oriented from a certain angle?
It could be
Because
maybe
like
from that end because it's
the point that's sticking to you.
this one right here.
No, the backside.
On the backside
Yeah,
here.
that. Well, maybe
Here.
not. No, I guess I was seeing
I don't
something.
think it's oriented there.
No,
I've been looking at
It's a-
this thing. There's no rollover lips or anything.
it's beautiful though,
It's a
man.
beautiful, beautiful piece.
Hmm.
You know, it's
Very
450
nice hand piece.
grams, I think. So it's quite heavy. So that's what I have today.
That's fantastic. Wow. Yeah, I need to get me a nice piece of Taza, I guess.
Yeah, I'm mostly iron meteorites. You guys are
Mhm.
teaching me about contrast and getting a better appreciation for them. I used to write them off, but
Yeah.
you guys are some good information. Oh, by the way, I also this week found a hardcover copy of Rocks from Space.
Cool.
To be here. In fact, Pat, it was your fault. You got me into that.
I'll take the blame for that any day of the week.
Yeah,
Yep.
so it's coming in from Amazon. It should be here in about a week or two.
Good book.
It's the second edition, so it's the latest version of it. I do have a PDF copy of the first edition, but nothing like holding a book in your hands.
I was hoping that, oh, yeah, we had just had a message from Mike Kelly that our friend Craig Lyman posted some killer slices of Taza online on Facebook, and they
He
were.
said it was sold out.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say it was super nice, super nice. I was really hoping that we would have Matt Stream join us today. He unfortunately needed to get to work selling some meteorites, but his father is. I really should have read the message before I started talking about it, but his father is associated with the March Museum or March something. And basically it's got to be some kind of huge museum because they just bought part of a space shuttle. There was like an open bid. The item was free, but you had to pay the shipping, and the shipping was like 75,000. So it's not the space shuttle itself. I believe I could be wrong, but I believe it is either the main tank or a rocket, the solid rocket booster, the SRBs. So because his father is very much associated, if not high up in the organization, Matt is able to get behind the scenes access. And so this weekend when he goes there, he's going to be snapping a bunch of pictures and videos for us of like freaking space shuttle stuff that actually went in space. So super cool about that. What I asked him to do is try to locate where on the solid rocket booster this thing is. This is my piece of flown space shuttle. This is called a CBD or CDF manifold. What this basically does is if the space shuttle were ever during launch to go off trajectory during solid rocket firing, the self-destruct button or self-destruct instruction is sent from mission control to the solid rocket booster to a shaped explosive charge. And that manifold is the green light, red light for that signal being sent to the explosive charge. That's actually flown, and I'm going to be selling pieces of it. This is not a commercial, but I'm going to be selling little pieces of it, cutting off so I can afford it actually, selling little $25 pieces of flown space shuttle material. And it's going to be really cool if he can actually walk up and film what it is, sitting there in the thing. There's only the CDF manifold has only been used once during the entire space shuttle missions. It was during the Challenger explosion.
Hmm.
They had to, once they realized that the shuttle was lost, the rockets, the SRBs were still firing. They go till they're burnt out, so they just sent the destruct button and killed them both. I want to share something with you guys, so let me pause this for a second. Okay, so some of you guys may remember this. We're recording, I hope. Yep.
Yes.
This is the 3 kilo Altai that I bought. And Altai is a solid iron meteorite from China. When I got this, if you've been following the weekly hangouts, you'll know that when I got it, it was off. It was too big to be an iron. An iron that big would be about 7 or 8 kilos. It weighs 3 kilos. It looks very rocky rather than iron. So I contacted the seller and basically got her permission to cut it because she's not a meteorite expert. And I tried to film it, but for some reason there was a glitch and it didn't record, but here's what we got. That, my friends, is 100% terrestrial garbage.
Oh, yeah.
There is nothing in there that catches my attention whatsoever, with the exception of this vein going through as a total. It should not be there.
Right.
I have a 6-inch saw. Okay, so this beast barely fit on my saw. That's why and I realized it wasn't for show, but you can see this vein going all the way through. This is definitely not something that is a characteristic of a meteorite.
Red jasper.
Jasper?
It can look like that. That's just a guess.
Yeah.
Don't take it scientifically.
Yeah, this was absolute garbage as far as I was concerned. It did not come from space, so it does not belong in my space. Yeah, so there we have it. So that concludes the edition of Meteorite or Meteor Wrong. It's definitely a Meteor Wrong. So
Thank you, Topher, for the rest of the story.
yes, and now you know the rest of the story. Does anyone have a show and tell item? I see no hands.
I'm well.
Oh, go for it.
I'm kind of hogging the show here. I love going to used bookstores. I'm a total sucker for a used bookstore, and we've only got one decent one here in Santa Rosa, and it fails my used bookstore test because the astrology department is bigger than the astronomy department. But
oh, Jesus.
but I always keep an eye out, and it's a smart bookseller. They move books fairly quickly. So I always go and look, and so here's a copy of Rocks from Space first edition. But this one is all full of somebody's research about meteorite flux and correspondence back and forth with somebody named Ted, and even a couple of articles tossed in. So you never know what you're going to find. Keep your eyes open. And so another time
That's
at that
awesome.
same used bookstore, I found another copy of Rocks from Space first edition, and this one was $10. And here's the title page.
A signed edition for $10.
Signed by Richard Norton and Dorothy.
Oh my gosh.
And it's inscribed, and it says, "To my best of friends, Joel, who became a meteorite hunter at the Meteor Crater with the author many years ago. A successful solar eclipse doesn't happen without his presence. And
Dang.
both Nortons signed it February 12th, 1995. So fairly
That's
short.
freaking cool, because that's just not a best wishes, enjoy the book signature. That's to a personal friend who you spent time with.
Yeah, and I don't know who Joel is yet. I've been looking, but
I'm surprised you don't know by now. You're the type of cat who would figure that crap out.
yeah, that one's been on the back burner for a while.
We got
Topher?
Yep, go for it.
Just while we're on the topic of books, I picked this one up. It's going to be backwards here, but it's Meteorite, How Stones from Outer Space Made It to Our World by Tim Gregory. He's an author, a PhD from the UK. But the interesting part of it, when you go into his notes at the end, he says, "We bought an apple-sized piece of meteorite that I studied for almost 4 years as part of my PhD research from, wait for it, eBay, specifically from a dealer by the name of Mr. Meteorite, who everyone knows is Ruben Garcia."
That's
So that was
cool.
Thing.
Wow, that's awesome. And it's not reversed for us. We can see it perfectly. So that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's super cool. Yeah, Ruben Garcia is Mr. Meteorite, and excuse me. When I first started getting into meteorites, my wife was very happy. She loves making little videos with music in the background and little sparkles and stuff. And she made this little thing, this little video for me, and she wanted me to put it on my Facebook page. And it was like, introducing Mr. Meteorite, and I was like, I can't put that online. I'm going to get my ass handed to me. Yeah. I have a side topic for today of collection, personal collecting, and how to track your collection. Is that something that the group is interested in seeing, some spreadsheets that I have, or is that something that's not of interest?
Sure, go for it.
Sure.
Okay, give me 1 second here. All right. I don't know if these are going to be super visible to everyone, but at least it'll give you an idea of just some of the detail that I collect on my collection. And I have separate spreadsheets for my business versus my personal stuff. So what I basically have here is a total collection of meteorites that I have, meteorites that I own. Each one is linked to the Met Bull, which is the Meteorological Bulletin for each meteorite.
Nice.
Oh, look at that. He just so happens to have the odd numbered golden palisade up. That wasn't planned at all.
No.
So each of these is hot linked right over to the Met Bull, so you can verify the information.
Mhm.
If it's a witnessed fall, it's going to be highlighted in green, as you can see over here. I try to put Met Bull information only in here. However, if you're reading in the Met Bull and it says if it's described if it's classified as an L3, and then you're reading into the notes further and it says the chondrules based on this blah blah blah, so there's a subtype of 3.6. I use that 3.6 because that's a subclassification, not the main classification. But on here I also try to keep, I think it's a witness fall is cool to know the date of, but for me the time of day seems really important. I kind of like that. Like, this is Abapanu, beautiful meteorite, and it fell at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So people were outside and seeing it. It wasn't like it was 3 o'clock in the morning and only a few people saw it. The total weight is in this column, and I have them color coded based on weight here. So if you see something like this, Aldama B, there's only 66.5 grams of it. So it's marked as red for under 100 versus under a kilo versus under 5 kilos or over and over 1,000 kilos. And then what I try to put is the maybe an interesting fact about it, the 11th witness diagenite. There's only 11 of them. Or I put in information of how I got it. So this Conception Junction we were talking about earlier, it went from Ashton, Ward, and Gheesling to me. Those are the 3 hunters collectors, and they wrote the book, and it went directly to me. So like this one right here, well, doesn't exist. Sorry. I tried to cleanse this as best I could, but there's some crap on here that shouldn't be seen. Anything that's that I have a main mass of is highlighted in dark or red. So this happens to be the brand new Gurara 003 that Oz, Jason, and I just got classified. So it's all going to be in red. And then the provenance is Jason, Oz, and I. So there's 2 more main masses, a lot more classified or witness falls. And then you, after all the locations, then you jump into the NWA numbers, and the AWA numbers continue. And as they get down, you'll see a bunch more of main mass holder. If it just has a name to me, it means it's the main mass holder directly to me. So right now I have about 500, and this isn't up. This is by not complete by any stretch, but I have over 500 different meteorites. These classifications, as soon as I identify a classification, it goes in. I go into this and check it off.
Cool.
There is an amazing plethora of classifications.
Yep.
And it's amazing how many you don't have.
Like
I mean,
grains of sand on a beach.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's absolutely crazy. We're at 300 classifications so far. Now, like this right in here was just added. This is a brand new classification. It didn't exist until just last week. So I added it in here. Oh yeah, 1 of 1. I have the main mass.
Nice.
Not bragging or anything, but there you have it. So there's 440 different classifications that I know of. So trying to collect them all is nearly impossible.
Yeah.
Everyone should have a quick math sheet. You just throw in weights, what you paid for it, price per gram, and cost averages. I do a lot of cost averaging, so I'll buy, if I end up buying 50 stones that come out to 5 kilos, I'll put all their weights in here, cost average it out, and then I know what each one is. We also talked, what's that?
Collecting them all is 100% impossible. Like CR1 is in there, and there's 1 of them.
CR1. Yep. I don't even have CR1 in here.
Yeah, it's in the middle.
Oh, CR right there above you. Yeah, there you go.
See, it means I have less than I had when I started this Hangout. Damn it. We talked about the famous Collect 60 list. So this is the Collect 60 list. And I recently sold my Amahata Sitta, so I don't have that anymore. But I'm doing pretty well. All the ones in dark I have. So I have 49, I need 11. And these are the ones I'm looking for.
Not be picky.
So it's nice to have a little
typo.
What's that?
Not to be too picky, but I think I saw a typo. You go up
Where?
to Brenham, and you're 60. Is that Brenham or Brenham?
It should be Brenham. Yeah, it's wrong on the actual website too, because I had the same thing in mind.
Because I've got a piece of Brenham. It's
It is Brenham. Yeah, because if you go back to my finds up here, you'll see Brenham. Where is it? Yep.
Yeah,
Brenham.
Yeah, I was totally scratching my head at that list originally. Is it Brenham or is it Brahim they want me to get?
Yeah. Yeah, so this is like a good spreadsheet to have for your goals if you're trying to collect different things. So here's another goal I have that's wildly optimistic, to collect every sub 1000 NWA.
Oh, boy.
So there's 1,000 of them, and I'm not even close. But something to shoot for. So this is a quick list. When someone says, "Hey, I have a piece of 742. Do you need it?" I'm like, "Yes, I do need it. I don't have it yet." Now this one here, Master Collection. Ooh, that's some good stuff. Okay. Excuse me. This is my private collection. I removed all pricing because that's really pointless. This is more to show the feature and function of the spreadsheet. So every once in a while, you'll see an item that I offer from my personal collection, and it has a serial number. This is where it comes from. It comes in a master spreadsheet. Everything in my personal collection is going to be in here. It's a work in progress, but it also has a good amount of information. So like with the erg check, you find 2 identical ones here, different sizes, obviously, but you can add any kind of notes you want. So here I have the provenance. I try to have provenance on everything from me back to Matt Stream, back to the source on a lot of these. Whenever it's provenance, just like it's usually they're the main mass holders. I got Scottsdale. Is Scottsdale in here? Oh, it happens. This isn't alphabetical, but yeah, like this is my birthday fall, so you can put special information in there. But this is I was working on my gifts earlier today or earlier this weekend, so these are all my gifts. So I was really hoping to have Matt Stream on here because you could see Matt Stream, Oz, Juan, Oz, Juan, Oz, Matt, Kyle. Yeah, a lot of good friends in there. So this is my master spreadsheet, and then when I actually sell something, I'll just go ahead and cross it off. So the information stays there, but it's not in my collection anymore. I keep a master list of what I'm selling that's available online. This tab right here is labeled box 1. I removed of box on it. So I don't want you to know how many boxes there are because it's kind of embarrassing, but this is box 1. And this is what the box contains. Now this is just from certain areas. So for some reason, these made sense for me to put in a box together. But these are the ones I have. And I keep you can keep a running total over different tabs on spreadsheets. So in box A, I have a total of whatever, and the entire closet collection is worth $0. So each tab would be added to it. Like here's my USA collection. So I also have a very detailed one for pallasites because I wanted to focus on pallasites. So this is, and there's the brand new one. So this is the first pallasite ever right here. So this is kind of the spreadsheets that I use really on a day-to-day basis. The master collection is really the collection, and then the falls and find is basically an inventory of what I have, what I don't have. Oh, by the way, if it's red, it's a hammerstone.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of information you can get just by looking at this at the spreadsheet. You know, so yeah, this is what I use currently, and I'll be glad to make copies of these available to the group, empty copies for you guys to use if it makes sense for you.
Yeah, that would be very nice. I'm in the process of recreating that. I like your idea of the hot link to the Met Bowl. One other thing that I was working on, trying to figure out exactly how to do, but to have a hot link from each one to the photograph of it, or photographs of it.
Trust me, if I could resolve that problem, my online shop would be live already.
I think
there's a tool that instantly ports an Excel spreadsheet into a sellable inventory list on a phone app. But the thing is, I can't get photos added. Like, I don't know how. So I'm actually working with Eric Lyon, who's a member of our group. He's going to be designing a web page for me, and I'm very excited to see his work on that. But yeah, you can easily do what you're asking. Basically, you go to another tab on the spreadsheet, you insert the photo of your item into that cell, and then you copy the cell location as a hyperlink into the other tab entry, if that makes sense to you.
You could do it that way too, but then your Excel gets huge. I think you can also link it right to the file structure on the computer you're housing it on. The only thing is then if you move it, you need to move the whole file structure there because it's finding it by file.
Yeah, I think you can do it to a
right click on a cell, and it just goes down and it says add hyperlink, and you just add that, and you navigate to your file structure and enter, and it's really simple. I've got that on all of mine. I have a file that contains all the documentation, the pictures, whatever you want. But it has to be, if you change the name of the file or the location, it'll lose track. So the hyperlink gets lost. But it's really simple to do. It's just a right click and 2 mouse clicks.
Can you link it to a folder containing 8 pictures or just a picture?
Whatever you want to do. Just all you got to do is, I link mine to a folder, but you can link it to a picture. You can do anything you want. Just right click on the cell and hit hyperlink.
Okay, that's going to be awesome, because that's one of the hardest things for me to do is keep track of everything. Yeah. So let me also show you my file structure for saving photographs. All right. So this is the file structure I use for my meteorites, and I have hundreds and hundreds and probably thousands of pictures, so it's really hard to keep them organized, especially when things fall under multiple categories like diagenite. Belanga happens to be a witnessed diagenite fall. So is Tatooine. So should those be in witnessed falls or diagenite falls? You know what I mean? So a lot of it, sometimes I have to click multiple places before I find what I'm looking for. But I try to have everything in as little offerings as possible, mainly just classes. So you'll find like Bencovites, Chondrites, they're all capitalized, meaning they're classes. So within palasites, let's say, we have these palasites. And since we're talking about Conception Junction today, we'll go into Conception Junction. So each piece is going to have its own folder with its own weight. And there's the Conception Junction. Just a gorgeous meteorite. But so even in my NWA unclassified, I have different folders with different descriptions of them. But if it's an NWA classified, it's in here. And then each and every thing that I have, I also have to have a sold file, because once something is sold, you got to move it over there and get rid of it. But these are Oz's brand new slices. Had to show them off for you. Yeah. So this is kind of how I do it with major types. The witness falls kind of gets out of control because they fit in, like this is an Albright. It fits anywhere. This is an Albright. So like these are famous Albrights. So should they be in an Albright category or a witness? You know, you have to make decisions, and sometimes they're kind of hard, but that's my strategy of photo archival. And like everything is doubled because I have, you know, private collection, inventory, and then sold inventory, you know, in case people want pictures of it, or I need it for marketing or whatever.
Yep. Part of the challenge of the spreadsheet sort of thing is what is the purpose of it? If it's, you know, if it's just for, you know, business purposes or just for personal collection, such. Mine is largely about making it so that when somebody has to go through my collection after I'm gone, that they can readily identify what things are, which ones are, you know, 5 cents a gram meteorites and which ones are $50 a gram meteorites. And so I don't have stickers on everything like Topher does. He's got 6-digit clear stickers that go on everything. I've basically done mine by mass. And so, you know, accurate scale and things to 100th of a gram or 1,000th of a gram. But I really do want to do hyperlinks to photos, and I think to do a file structure that has that set of photos that are separate from anything else, but that are somehow tied to the spreadsheet in name or, you know, file location or what have you. And of course, none of these things are one-shot documents. They're all living documents as we collect more meteorites or sell meteorites. So so mine, hopefully between accurate mass of each one and then photos of each one, it'll make that job of dealing with my estate much more easily completed.
Well, I don't want to be morbid about it, but you have my address. Just send it all to me and I'll sort it out. We have Mike Kelly with his hand up.
Hey.
You're going to be with us for another 4 decades, buddy. You're the first man to live to 122.
Well, hope so. We'll see.
I'm going to, if you don't mind, I'm going to try to share screen, maybe. And I wanted to try to show you what I had, some of the things on the catalogs, if you don't mind.
Yeah, because I'll tell you what, when Stephen Amera came over my house, he saw how detailed my stuff was, and he was blown away. And he was like, "Okay, I need to start keeping accurate records." Then I saw some of the stuff that Mike collects, and I was like, "Okay, I'm glad I'm keeping certain details and not everything, because this cat is detailed." Take it, Mike.
Yeah.
So, kind of like what you did on yours is I have, you know, I'm specifically subtype collecting as my primary thing. So here's all the subtypes going across the top of the screen. But what I did was I got rid of all the hyphenated ones. And you can see it kind of color coded it. So you can see reds are the ones I got. And then blacks are the ones that are still needed, you know, moving through all the different types. You had mentioned the CN60 challenge. So there's the CN60 challenge there.
Nice.
So down to like 4 more to go.
Dude, I got Escal for you and Henbury.
Nice. And then one of the other things that I was looking at, and I showed some of these off last time, was you know, I'm into trying to get the largest falls. So here you got some of the largest falls on there, and there's the Mbozi and the Buca Burrito that I showed last time.
Yep.
So that's kind of the data I keep across the top of the spreadsheet. And then kind of like what you were doing, Topher, you know, I track it just by the cell number on there. And like Pat had mentioned, he does it by weight. And for me, being a micro guy, that's incredibly hard because they're so close and some of them are duplicates. So I track it by the cell number and then what the piece is, who I got it from, you know, what type of provenance does it have? You know, are they an IMCA member? Are they a METS member? You know, are they a Meteorite Club member? You know, how do I know that they're a valid individual type deal?
Good.
You know, weights. And one of the things that I do, and it's kind of an old school collection thing, is what was the total weight? And that was kind of a big thing back in the Ninja days. You know, the quality of your collection was kind of judged by the size of it. So, you know, I keep track, and this auto calculates all the way down to the bottom and tells me what my weights are. One of the things I keep track of, and this is kind of an interesting fact, and I don't know if it stays in Metbull or there's a way to search it, is, let me get down to some decent ones.
Let me interrupt for a second. I love the fact that you have physical description of the rock in some of the places.
Yeah, and I try to do that, and I try to keep track of notes on what the unique characteristics are. And then I also keep track of, when I get them, how many pieces were there at the time. So like, for instance, let's see, Angrites. So Angrites are kind of interesting because, you know, now getting down towards more where I'm at on Angrites, right now there's like 35 Angrites. If you go back to the first Angrite I ever picked up, it was like 1 of 12 at the time. So it's in 3 years alone, I can track how large that group has grown. So that group has almost tripled in just the 3 years that I've been at it. But then I also kind of keep track of, you know, did I get the piece and I had to do any work on it? You know, obviously what the costs were, whether it's a fall, a find, or a hammerstone, locations, you know, is it a fragment, is it a slice, is it an individual? And then I also like to keep track of kind of notes on when I bought it. So one of the things that I think is important is recording kind of the history on why I bought it. And, you know, do I think I got a great price on it? You know, what got me excited about it when I was going after it. And then like you do, Topher, you know, I link to the Metbull, so I can just click on it and get the rest of the Metbull data. So I try to kind of focus mostly on not cloning as much of the Metbull data as I can. Besides, you know, whether it's a fall or what the type is, and try to kind of focus on the details on why I picked it up. And then like you were saying, you know, who I got it from and can I track the whole chain of custody? So, you know,
Yep.
Was this a piece that person was the classification main mass holder or main mass listed or a listed person for the mass? And then how short is the chain to get to me? And that kind of ties in with what Pat says is, you know, some of these pieces, you know, I'm not necessarily just recording it so I know what's going on. I'm recording it so when it gets passed along, you know, somebody else is going to be able to see that chain of custody and the history, and, you know, things moving through specific collections are important sometimes as far as the value of the piece or adds to its story. And that's all stuff that I want to keep track of. The other kind of cool thing that I've been working on, and this is kind of my big project, it's very slow, is I kind of whittled down and through a bunch of different research papers, every single mineral I could find in all of the different meteorites. So this is broken down by, you know, is it a phosphate? Is it a molybdenite? And I'm trying to go through with all the Metbull lists and identify pieces that I have and see if I have a representative piece of every mineral in there.
Dude, you are hardcore.
You know, and then I got a statistics page that builds, you know, where they're from, you know, which continents, and then it finally finishes off really easily with that feeds a chart system. Let's see if it'll go there. I don't know if it's like in the chart, and that chart tells me, you know, how many I have per continent and how many I have per type breakdown. So that was I just figured I'd share that, and if anyone wants parts of that, I could feed it to them. You know, obviously minus the price data and stuff like that, and that's how I catalog everything and keep track of it all.
I like that, and I think that I'm going to incorporate something that you are doing. Hold on, where's something that you were doing that I think I need to do. You're tracking slice, partial slice, individual. I'm doing that on my master plan on my personal inventory, but I'm kind of not doing it really anywhere else. So I think it needs. I think that's important information. Is what I'm trying to say. That's important information that should be captured.
Topher, if you like, I can share what crude form spreadsheet that I have here.
Yeah, please.
Okay, so let's see. Okay, so so I've got mine broken out as, you know, meteorite name, and then my ID numbers are like this was Edwin Thompson, the Big Gibeon I bought in '94. There's the mass. It's an individual, price per gram, total purchase price, which that one's reworked to follow the divorce revaluing crap. Purchase date, source, fall or find, date, total known weight, which I haven't really followed up with, and then just a general notes field. And for the masses, I'm trying to keep everything at least to hundredths of a gram. Obviously, that one's not good to hundredths of a gram, but
See, you have a individual shrapnel fragment. You have that too.
Yeah.
Do
And
you have a place for thin slices numbered for each meteorite?
Each individual meteorite gets a separate ID number, and I like Topher's idea of having just a 6-digit number as well, and so I think I'm going to incorporate that as well. But like here, T is for Tucson, 2007. Meteorite number 1 that I bought that year, likely ordinary chondrite, unclassified NWA, purchase price, source, etc. And then I really like Topher's idea of linking to the Met Bull on the ones that are classified and need to work towards a link to a photograph as well.
Yeah. Now that I know that linking photographs into a folder is easy, I'm gonna be doing that, Ron.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do see some names on your list that like Dean Bessie.
Yeah.
So one thing I'm noticing is that on mine, I have a column that if the person of the person's IMCA number, so I can easily find them just as a reference. I haven't seen anybody doing that.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. Go ahead, Pat.
Yeah. So just some ideas there that that somebody might find interesting. My numbering sort of scheme is kind of loosely based on the rich find area and the sort of scheme they use in the Antarctic for the Ansmet stuff.
Yeah. The labels that I use, the holographic labels that I use with that are serial numbered, are available on Amazon. You can buy them in sheets of 100 or I bought them in packs of 500, and they're pretty inexpensive. And you can get big seal certificates, things like that, or you can get the little narrow ones like I have. So like when I'm done, like these are COAs that I need to file away. So I'll show you what goes away. the piece is labeled individually, but this goes in my, I have 3 ring binders back here. I don't know if you can see that or not, but 3 ring binders full of COAs. So in addition to the item being properly labeled and serial numbered, there's my COA number on my personal collection number on the COA. A note that it was a gift from Matt Stream. That's Matt Stream. The original COA from Fabian Kuntz. Am I zoomed in? Yeah, there we go. And then Matt's business card. I like business cards with COAs. That way, if you ever pass along the piece, you can pass along the business card.
Yeah.
This one obviously won't be because it's, you know, a gift. But this will go into my 3 ring binder, and this will complete the COA documentation for it.
Nice.
So yeah, so when I get something that doesn't have a COA, like that Walton piece I showed earlier, it didn't have a COA with it, so I create my own COA and then link on the back the paperwork of where I got it and information that's important. So if I ever do need to pass the piece along, now it has a COA and it has the provenance. So I've started the history of this, even though it's a Walton piece and it already has history. Now it has a COA to go with it from me. So if it ever leaves my collection, it's gonna, hopefully the Topher Spin COA will follow it around, because it is part of the piece. This is a let me see here. This is something I wanted to show because we were talking about Dave earlier. This is I have a piece of Whetstone, which is an Arizona meteorite. And I guess Dave Gheesling wrote the book on it. So here it is with my my collection number for the slice, and here's the entire book. There's the X-rater, the finder, but it's the full book of the finding of Whetstone. So when he does a book on Whetstone, look, there's a young Mike Farmer. So when he does a book on something, that's a young Robert Ward. I think that's Devin Schrader. Yeah, it is. I'm gonna say that's Devin Schrader from ASU. And that might be Dave right there. Nope. I was looking for a picture of Dave, but he's not even in his own book. There he is. So our little tribute to Dave today is to show off some of his amazing provenance. I mean, he literally wrote the book on the meteorite. So he did the same exact, I couldn't find my one for Conception Junction right now. It's actually in the 3 ring binder, but this one was out, so I figured I'd show it off. Yeah. So, all right.
Hey, Topher.
Yep.
Yeah. Where you keep your COA cards?
Where do I keep them? This is one of the books. So this is one of the books here, and literally it's just absolutely crammed with COAs, and they're all numerical. Yeah. So at one time I was actually trying to take pictures of my pieces. You'll see that there's like there's some pictures right there. That didn't last long. When you're buying as quickly as I was, there's no way. So yeah, I actually ran out of room in this binder, and had to switch. Well, actually, I started with this little one, a 2-inch one. Then I had to go into the 5-inch one, and now they're both kind of full. But like in here is all every COA, every bit of information that goes with each piece. So when I resell this 131 gram piece out of my personal collection, I'll take this out and sell it with it. But yeah, this is when I was really optimistic and taking pictures of everything.
Mhm.
That's just you can't keep on like that. I mean, it's a great idea, but what I had to settle for was the collection book. So I think I've showed this off before, but it's my collection book of all my meteorites that I'm super proud of, and the photography that I did. Yeah. So there's just a little bit of every, and look at this. That palisite is now classified.
Yeah.
That's the original one. That's in my so if you buy that, you can actually say it's featured in my book, which adds like 4 cents to the value.
Topher, it might be a good topic for a future hangout to talk about photography techniques, both outdoors and indoors.
Absolutely.
Yes, please.
And there's even some specialized technique stuff too, like the micrometeorite photo setup that John Larson has. He goofed up the other day and posted a photo of his lighting setup, and his microscope is a camera.
Did you snatch it down a little bit real quick before you deleted it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'd be glad to. I don't know if I'm the best person, because quite honestly, I use my cell phone and I mean, this is my, here, I'll show you my photo studio. I have one of these LED flat lights that I can control. I have a white backdrop, and that's my photo studio.
Yeah. Well, I think collaboratively there's enough ammo there. I'd love to know where to find that light panel.
Yeah, this is a nice flat light source is really mandatory. You can't have hot spots, and you can't have LEDs that flicker. It's got to be a solid LED that give. And what's good about this light that I have, it actually has a warmth control.
Yep.
So, but I always like it on the brightest, clearest white you can possibly get. It gives you the best representation.
Yeah, we can talk about color, temperature, and that kind of stuff too.
Yeah, absolutely. It'd be nice to get some people who actually have invested in some equipment, some cameras and stuff, for that conversation.
Yeah, I think between us we can everybody contribute something. I don't have it set up at the moment, but it can be reset up easily. I've got some big LED light panels, but they're not the flat panel with the diffuser like yours is. They're individual LEDs. But we can talk about color, temperature, and point and shoot cameras versus DSLRs and mirrorless cameras and all that good stuff.
Yeah, and why it's best that we ask people to take pictures outside when we're trying to identify things. Yep. Natural lighting is usually the best source. But it's amazing what you're able to accomplish. I'm I don't want to pat myself on the back too hard, but I take very good photographs, and I do it because I love the piece. I fall in love with it. I want to see every little detail, and when I zoom in on it and crop it and stuff, it's very enjoyable to me.
Yeah, but there's
But
100 lessons that you learned along the way that if you're willing to share.
oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and the thing is, there's no special software required whatsoever. I'm honestly only using the tools that come with Windows 10, my cell phone and Windows 10, and that's it. I'll show you how you can put logos over things or add 3D font and move it around in different angles and stuff like that. So yeah, I'd be glad to share that stuff with people, because if everyone takes pride in their photography, imagine the beautiful things we'd find just all over the internet.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to pause for 1 second. Yeah.
And you guys were, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, talking hitchhikers before, when I was up visiting Stephen Amara, I think if you look at the back of Barnstable, I think it has a pretty solid hitchhiker on the back of it. You'll have to get him on one time to show it.
Oh, wow. Yeah, we were just talking about Stephen Amara, one of our good friends, and Barnstable. All right, I'll go ahead and make the announcement. Fine. You guys twisted my arm. I'd like to announce, and by me announcing this, he better show up. Next week, we have a special guest telling us the story of Barnstable. The one and only Stephen Amara Jr. will be joining us. Barnstable is the largest meteorite ever recovered in Massachusetts. It is only the second meteorite ever discovered in Massachusetts. When he discovered this meteorite, I'm not going to ruin his story. When he discovered this meteorite, very close friends of his currently were calling bullshit on it, calling it an NWA plant. There's no way. Well, it's real. It's on the Met Bull, and next week. One thing I will tell you about Amara is he didn't just trip and fall over it. Okay, hours and painstaking months and years of hunting. So I'm not going to take any of his thunder tomorrow. Next week, Stephen Amara. So everyone send Stephen Amara a message saying you better show up next week, or else we're not going to have a special guest. So let me show you 4 items that are in my collection. These are in my do not sell collection, because these were all gifts. Have some pretty nice ones. This was a gift from Ray Watts. Ray, I believe, is in Canada. So this is, as you can see, NWA 10331. What I love about it is it's a single stone. So there's only one single stone. So when you have an end cut of a single stone, it's kind of special. So again, it has my chicken scratch on it, but this one I haven't added to my collection, so it doesn't have a serial number yet. But as you can tell, it was repaired. That end broke off during the polishing process, and it was sent to me separate. So I was like, I'm gluing it back on. I don't care. It looks good from the front. Yeah. So this was a nice gift. Ray does a lot of outreach and makes things available. So he had a contest of tell the best meteorite story, and this was the prize. This is a gift from Oz. And what's cool about this is Oz got it from Jimmy P. And he's the hunter in Chile. So Oz has a sister slice to this one, and that I'm a big fan of sister slices. It kind of unites Oz and I, knowing that we have sister slices of this meteorite, and it's actually a really, really pretty meteorite. So this is Lost 331. I believe. Yeah. So, and that's another thing I always do is I always write down sister slices or who they're from. While we're on the subject of Ozman, this was another one. I wish I had the date better on this, but it was sometime in September. Looking back in 5 years, it won't matter. But this is when we cut together. So when he was over here, we grabbed some rocks, we cut it. This happened to be one of his. After we cut a few slices, he's like, "Here you go, bud." I'm like, "Yes, I will take it." I'm not even going to play like, "Oh, are you sure?" I was like, "Done. I'll take it." A beautiful end piece.
You know, we are really, really lucky to be living through the NWA gold rush.
Yeah.
Back in the day, it was hard to get a meteorite big enough to cut, and they tended to be crazy expensive. And there's just so much unclassified material coming out of Northwest Africa at such reasonable prices. Every man can get into cutting meteorites.
Yeah.
But you did get like Campo de Cilio for 5 cents.
Yeah. This one is absolutely super special to me. And this is really another reason why I wanted Matt Stream on today. When we were recently in Franconia doing the meteorite hunt, I can't say I left empty-handed because I left with this Franconia, but it was given to me. So I have almost 12-gram Franconia H5, and then down on the bottom is a small 0.135. They call it a Franconia iron, but it's really a Sacramento Wash 005. And there's only there's only 8 of those H metal classifications on the Met Bull, and I think 7 of them are from Antarctica. So Sacramento Wash 005 H metal is the only non-Antarctic H metal, if I believe I'm correct.
Yeah, the theory on those, or at least some talk that I've heard, is that those were pieces that were weathered out, or you know, the meteorite was friable and fell apart coming through the atmosphere, and that those are metal grains from a much larger meteorite.
Yeah.
Far from proven, though.
What's interesting is the one I found when we were there has yet to be confirmed. I'm going to send it to Jason Utas in order for him to verify. But if it is, it's a rare. It's awesome because it's a find, but it's also a rare one. It's a H metal, which is hard to find.
And that's a big one for those H metals. I've seen. There was one of the hunters that I've seen in ET's room always has a film canister full of those, and yours is much, much bigger than average.
Yeah, it's just over 2 grams. I did the Pat thing. It's 2.00 something, so it's over 2 grams. I see that Sam Lopez has his hand up. I would love to spotlight you and see what we got.
Okay, I'm not one for the limelight, but I do want to show something. There we go. I don't know how well you can see it.
Perfectly.
Okay, good. Well, provisionally, I've just been calling it a C1, but I work out here on the family farm, and back in 2017, I came across this.
Wow.
Not just this, but yeah, you can still see the leading edge right there has a good fusion crust, but it's really indistinct, and you can't really see it well. Like what the bottom is.
Oh.
I know there's dirt on it. It's so hard to get off, especially in these little cracks.
Have you had this looked at yet, Sam?
It's in the process. It's actually a long story. I've talked to several people about it, and Carlton Moore actually comes to the geology museum here in town, and we had a chat about it, and he told me, you better pick everything up before this rain comes, because we're having a real heavy rain at the time. And
Yeah.
there's more. This one's actually more CI like, and you know, touching it, it disintegrates.
Yeah.
And it's basically all matrix. I mean, you can see some relic grains in there, but and on the back edge, you know, the soil basically lithified to it. And if you look closely, it's a little vesicular, you know, the soil actually, you know, it devolatilized. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm kind of nervous. So
Absolutely fine, man. We're trying to make an environment for everyone to feel welcome. And, you know, I'll misspeak and use unscientific words or the wrong word at the time. And that's just part of the process.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You can read it and forget it in 5 minutes. And
these were found on your property?
Yes, actually, grandma's property, and she knows about it. Everyone's cool. The whole family knows about it, but I'm the only one besides my 2 youngest kids that are actually into geology or rocks, minerals, anything like that. I have one in situ. I think it's kind of neat. I keep it in here so it doesn't.
Cool.
Yeah, I like how I actually was going to pick it up, and the soil around it just came up with it, and I was like, oh nice, that works out perfectly.
One technique that has been used to stabilize an in situ sample like that is you take Elmer's glue and cut it with water 50-50, and you slowly soak it in from one side. You know, you test first to make sure it's not going to make the dirt clod fall apart, but you can slowly add it in, and it will solidify the dirt for the in situ.
Oh, that's good to know. But the soil was actually all around the area. I mean, it was in a cotton field and around it. So luckily the stuff around it didn't get smashed by a God knows how many ton cotton picker, but
right.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of, some pieces you literally picked up and they disintegrated in your hand. Like it was very, you know, but the soil just around the whole site was just a thin layer of black, partially lithified around it. And it was just very, very unique. I mean, there's several more. I mean, the main mass was actually 16 kilograms. So there was a lot.
Where was this found? What city?
I'm about an hour south of you. I'm in Coolidge, Arizona.
Okay, very familiar.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's a beautiful area. And here's another one that I really liked. It's kind of, this one's kind of, I don't want to really pick it up because it's going to fall, but this one's kind of in between the two, you know, the more CI type, and then this one's more coherent, doesn't break nearly as easy.
Wow.
You know,
yeah, you should seriously think about turning in some of that for classification. I'm sure Daniel Shake would classify it fairly quickly. And
oh, he has about 305 grams of it because it's so. You know, I'm real liberal with this. I don't, you know, I'm in it for the science. You know, I'm not anything else. Yeah, like I love to learn and the origins of life as we know it. Like, come on, like.
Yeah.
What was the acreage of the farm that you had to cover to?
Well, right here, it's almost literally my backyard, but it's around 100 acres right here. But the strewn field from the pieces that I picked up, it was about 71 meters by, I did map it out and I did all that, but it's, you know, I do everything on paper. I'm kind of old school, I guess. So I'd have to go and look back and find it.
Yeah, nice. They're of such a size, and talking about running a heavy cotton picker through that field, it's amazing they didn't get destroyed.
Oh yeah, and when they spread manure, they deceptively look the same.
Right. Yes.
Right.
I've spent a bunch of time on the dry lake beds, and rabbit raisins and horse road apples in just the right sunlight, look like they have fusion crust on them.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Hey, Sam, do us all a favor here in the Hangout group and keep us updated on this, okay?
Absolutely. And
Yeah,
and
no problem.
if there's any of this material available for sale, I'd certainly be interested in buying a piece of it.
We'll get there maybe.
Yeah, I think once it's classified, we'll definitely be talking, because I love buying from I love a finder. Hey, good to see you, man. I love finders, and finders who, like you said, you mapped it out, you're tracking everything, you have all the weights, you're getting it to a trusted scientist, you're doing it the right way. You ran it by Carlton first. I mean, you're doing things the perfect way that we want things to be done from a scientific method. So I applaud you for that. Really do.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Some people just get so
in the
anxious.
beginning,
Go ahead.
surprisingly, I knew very little of meteorites in the beginning. You know, I mean, I knew of iron, stony, you know, just the basic 3 categories. And then I was surprised at how vast the field has gotten.
Oh
and
yeah.
how far it progressed in such a short time.
Yeah, there's a monster amount of science. Yeah.
And
these carbonaceous chondrites are some of the very most interesting too. I'm sorry.
Oh
Topher.
yeah. I agree with that.
And you're talking about some massive kilogram there, man. I mean, that's how many kilograms you say it was? Like 16?
16.543 around there.
That's amazing, dude. That's phenomenal.
It's beautiful.
Wow.
It is seriously a beautiful piece. And but you know, I don't have a nitrogen changeover or anything like that. So like I've done my best. That's all I can say.
The only thing I could offer as a suggestion is, and I really don't want, hold on one second. Okay. So you have to donate like 20 grams to science, but you're being very liberal with it, as you said, and you want to make sure that science is done on it, and the meteorite is protected and preserved and curated. So the gentleman I just mentioned, I would definitely reach out to him. Feel free to mention my name and get him high quality pictures, and see if he has interest in curating it, doing some research on it, and then storing it in nitrogen lab for you.
Yeah, and he's very interested in Arizona meteorites as well, and so it's more than just an interesting meteorite, and it also is geologically or geographically important too.
Yeah, I've read several of his things. He's very thorough.
Yeah, Garvey is good. Yeah,
yes,
no doubt.
And I watched the video of you guys doing the vault. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was that. I don't want to say it was the highlight of my career, because I'm still on a vast ramp, but I'll tell you what, that I plateaued for a while. So thank you very much. I appreciate, Sam, you joining us, jumping out of your comfort level, and also amazing. I'm going to call it an Arizona find. We don't know what it is yet. The science is still out, so I'm not being rude to you, and with all respect. We don't know what it. Yeah, we don't know what it is yet, but I am so much behind you, rooting that we have what we think we have. Okay, so definitely keep us updated and keep dropping in.
For sure.
Brett, you got something for us?
Yep, sorry, wasn't able to unmute myself.
Okay.
I don't have a meteorite story, but I had a funny story that I really wanted to share with you guys, because it's kind of comical. It was a metal detecting story. I don't know if you remember, like a few weeks ago, I showed you like some of these musket balls.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I found more of them, and while I was on the beach, I found this item that I thought might it kind of resembled something that I'm familiar with just from being in the hobby of metal detecting for so long. That was it looked to me like an explosive from World War One.
Mm-hmm.
So
where's this beach at?
In South Jersey.
Okay.
And I didn't know like for sure, and I stupidly like put it in my back pocket, and because I'm like, even if it was, I'm like, it's detonated and I'm fine. So I'm metal detecting with my fiance, and we come across that. I put it in my back pocket, and then we finish another like 4 hours of metal detecting like that. And I bring it home. I put it in my like on our dresser in the bedroom. And then the next morning, I decided to shoot Farmer a message because I'm like, he would know this shit. Sorry, I'm always cursing. I'm like, he would know this stuff. So I shot Mike Farmer a message, and I said, like, what do you think about this? And he like quickly wrote back and said, are you in your apartment right now? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, get it out immediately. And he's like, get in your car, drive to an open field, and like we'll figure out what to do next. And he's like, in the meantime, I'll send you some things. So as I did that right away, and because he seemed pretty adamant about me doing that. And I didn't question anything. He did say be very careful, so I did, and brought it in the car, put it in my trunk, drove it to an area where there's an open field. And by the time I parked, he sent me some articles from on the Jersey Shore. Every so often, occasionally, these things wash up. They was identical to what I found, and I'm like, holy like crap! I think I found a World War I bomb, and because it certainly looked like it. So I had to call the cops. So I called the cops. The cops came. They met me there. Obviously, one became two cops became four, and then finally there was like three. There was like a total of like 4 or 5 cop cars with like 2 cops in each one. They called the bomb squad in.
Oh my God!
Cleared out an entire area and put up roadblocks on certain areas because we actually pulled my car into like an open field that I was just telling you about, where it was kind of like a park. So they closed everything off, and the bomb squad came. They analyzed it. They put it in this like special briefcase that scanned it, and they came back and they said, "Where did you find this at?" And I explained it. I said it was in South Jersey and this and that. And they're like, "Do you think you know what it is?" I'm like, "I think it's from World War I, and I'm pretty sure it's a bomb." And they're like, "Well," that's exactly what it is. And he's like, "Did you know that it was live?" And I'm like, "What?"
God.
I'm like, "This was live?" And he was like,
how big is this thing?
Live. Well, all right, let me see. Hold on, I don't know if this is gonna work or not, but I took this is me before I even knew what it was. I hope this works. This is me holding it up in a video. I'm like, oh, I'll post it to like the forums I belong to, and they'll be able to help identify it. This is me playing around with it. Like, you're not even supposed to do this with it.
Oh wow!
You're lucky. Yeah.
That would take your hand off.
Oh yeah. So this was 100% packed with whatever goes in it. Mike Kelly can tell you much more than I can on these things. He's been helping me out too. Whoa. With this whole ordeal. But it's packed with something that he basically sent, like, this is what your head could have done if it went off. And the head on the video, the mannequin head, just completely exploded into absolutely nothing. So that was 100% live. And the guy said, like, I can't believe you had it in your back pocket metal detecting for that long, and like you left it in there. And I'm like, I had it on my bureau for like all night. I went to sleep with it on the bureau, and he's like, you're absolutely crazy. Jesus. That's my story.
Good thing you didn't give it to the dog to play with.
What's that? It's hard to hear you. What's that?
Good thing you didn't give it to the dog to play with.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was the weirdest thing ever. Like I said, like Mike Kelly. I don't know if you're there, Mike.
It's an artillery booster charge. So it takes the input from the fuse and it boosts it so that the main charge goes off. And the really old ones were filled with picric acid, which we don't use anymore because of its instability. It forms picrate. which is not very stable compound. You'll see science labs every once in a while. You know, a science lab or university will find it. You guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's an artillery fuse.
That's crazy, man.
The booster. I'm sorry, artillery booster. So it's and if it is World War I, it's filled with picric acid, which gets unstable and forms picrate. They use it in labs every once in a while. You'll see articles where like a university will be cleaning out a cabinet and will find a lab a bottle of it, you know, and we'll do the same thing. They call the bomb squad because it forms picrate and it's unstable and has to be gotten rid of.
Damn. Well, Brett, I'm super glad you reached out to someone knowledgeable immediately, and they were able to tell you to get the out of town, because we want you with us for many decades to come. We want you to be the second person to live to be 147.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, it was interesting. Mike Farmer and Mike Kelly came to mind first, so I had to do that. But I found these too. This is pretty neat. This is I don't know what this is, but I don't know if you could see all these ornate features on this.
Yeah.
This beach is what also spit up that Roman coin, and I actually found the second Roman coin
Right.
just last week.
Right. Yeah. I remember that. I commented on that.
Yeah.
Find. Yeah.
I found another one, Pat.
Wild. Was it?
Yeah. It's hard to see anything. It's like there's definitely a bust on it, but like it's so hard to see, it wouldn't even be all that interesting to show on video right now. But this beach just keeps on spitting things up. And
Wow.
like they did like beach replenishment and stuff like that. They always do that in New Jersey, and they keep sucking all of these like items, all these like relics and stuff. Like here's a 1700s shoe buckle. I don't know if you could see that one.
Yeah. Wild.
It's kind of beat up a little bit, but it's all like it's got the patina all over it, and
Nice.
so yeah, I'm happy I didn't blow up either.
Yeah, we have a
You
lot
only
of
do it once.
we have a lot of metal detectors and hunters and in our group as well. Kind of goes hand in hand, and a lot of the guys on the East Coast find a bunch of old stuff. Out on the West Coast, all we find is bullets, and wire fence, barbed wire fence. So.
But you got the meteorites.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
At least we have some. We're not searching for. We're not the bullets we're searching for. You're searching for antique bullets. The stuff we're running into as bullets are just like junk and garbage.
You leave the gold nuggets alone, right? You let them stay right there where you find them.
We'll take all the gold nuggets we can. Okay, hold on one second, guys. Well, we've run long today. We didn't set the timer, so we got some great stories and some great people joining us. We're gonna end it for now, so I can get started working on the YouTube video, get it up before I go to sleep tonight. Just another great hangout, guys. Glad Sam was able to join us with the new Arizona Carbonaceous. We seriously are in your corner for that, and some great stories. We're glad Brett's still alive. All right, guys. Thanks. We'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.
Thanks,
Night,
all.
everyone.
Take
Bye.
care, everybody.
See you later.
Bye-bye.